What's good, everybody? It's your favorite host, Elufusjames, along with Big Mike. Big Mike, what's going on, man?
Nothing much, chilling.
Chilling like a villain, like always. It's time for our weekly podcast. We got a couple things we're going to bring for you today. We're going to talk about the East Division a little bit, have some fun with some of the owners on that division, talking about some things they probably will do and some things they probably won't do. And we'll also have a couple of quarterback board bets for y'all going on this season. Let's talk about some maybe reachable things and maybe not reachable things that'll be like, what the hell were they thinking? So, Mike, how was the week for you? You catch up on any news on football?
Um, Nothing much, really. I mean, I'm glad to see that the ESPN Fantasy Podcast is back up, and I always value listening to Stephania Bell's injury analysis going into the season, and this is just kind of good to be back in the swing of things.
Sure is, man. I tell you, I don't know how the weather's been up there in California, but over here, you know how hot Texas can get. It's actually been in the 80s, bro. It's almost like California, Texas, and switch, bro.
I was gonna say we didn't have some days in the high 90s in the last week or two.
But you know what's funny?
Kind of rough.
You know what's funny though? Not near a Texas football team in the NFL is here in Texas having training camp. They in California and West Virginia. They thought they was getting away from the heat, but I think the heat went to them.
Well, it'd be like that sometimes. That's why you're supposed to embrace your destiny.
Right. So all right. So let's talk about the East Division here for a little bit. You can see here. Here's the East Division trophy, and this trophy right here. Let's just say that there's one specific owner by the name of Elufusjames that basically owns this division over time. As you can see, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these trophies. 5, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, 5 of them. And it's a pretty historic division. Usually, whoever comes out of it doesn't really do well. And I only say that because I came out of it 5 years and have not won a championship yet. But there's others that have bucked the trend, like the Houston Shadows. Houston Shadows did win, along with Sugarland Cougars. They did win that 1 year too. Also, with Houston Shadows, they did it twice in this division. But let's talk about the new owners that are in this division. We got Emerald City Kings, led by no other than Chuck. Sugarland Cougars, led by Nando. Silent but Deadly, led by Brian. And Mike, your favorite opponent, Zeke and Destroy.
Yeah.
I blame. You want to give like a little brief synopsis on what we might expect from these 4 owners? Because let's be real, these 4 owners are pretty good, but they kind of been struggling lately as far as like deep playoff runs, besides Zeke and Destroy last year.
Well, I mean, like I always say about a lot of things, you got to maintain perspective, right? There's 12 teams in the league. This is only 4 of them. Zeke and Destroy, in particular, had a strong year last year, but we've seen Chuck and Getty put up great rosters, right? Have decent drafts or put up teams that you didn't expect to do well, and then they have a strong season anyway. Like, all of these owners are capable. It's not a question of capability. Even Fernando, I've seen him draft some rosters that surprised the heck out of me, by the time the draft was over. I expect this to be the toughest division. And I don't expect it to be particularly close. Just because everybody in the East is capable of beating anybody in the league from 1 week to the next. And I don't think that the results we've seen from all the players in the other divisions would say that that's equally true. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I feel what you're trying to say. The thing that interests me about this division is that if you go back over time, and yes, you can go back over time, owners in the league history page, all the way back to 2008, I believe, if not 2008, 2009. But going back on history, these 4 owners are really active in free agency. I mean, let's go back 3 years ago when the Cougars landed Odell Beckham Jr. teams have been known to rack up 35, 40 different transactions just on ads and drops alone. And Zeke and Destroy, yeah, he had a pretty good draft nailing DeMarco and nailing Zeke, but he also had a couple of pickups there too that kind of helped him throughout the season. Uh, I'm very tempted to see how, you know, introducing Fab will maybe not hinder, but maybe slow down their strategy that they use a lot in the waiver wire. But then again, it could amplify it.
Well, it's just like adding another layer of filtration, right? You might have a funnel, you might have a sieve, you might have a strainer, and so when you add the fab factor to the things that an owner has to consider, if you got a group of owners, right, who all like to make a lot of transactions over the course of the year, we'll get to see which one of those guys is making the just in case moves and which one of those guys has actually put some thought into the choice, decided it was worth a certain amount of money, even if they didn't know somebody else was going to bid on a player, and had enough faith in their own process to put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah, and these four owners, they usually do a pretty good job with it. But I will be very tempted to see how quickly it goes when they hit and miss on some weeks.
Yeah, well, and again, the fab thing is the skill test. If you're not the kind of owner who likes to make a lot of transactions, I know some people refuse to make a change, right? No matter what, in the first 4 weeks of the season. I'm not one of those people, but I do consider myself a patient owner. Um, but if you are the kind of person who relies on the ability to say, oh, well, I can always go to the waiver wire and fix this risk I took in the draft, Fab makes that a little more complicated.
Yeah, you're also gonna have to pay up a little bit more than you think. It's only a
Right.
$4 minimum, but if everybody's hungry after that one player, you might have to put 15, 20, 25 on that one person. And
Well, and that's because that those players, your Charkandrick Wests, your Spencer Wares, those kind of guys, that's the first level stuff.
mhm.
Obviously everybody wants that guy after he explodes. The person who has insight is the person who can make that pickup weeks before when they can get him for the $4 minimum, or look at the increase in demand for backup running backs across the league and say, let me go pick up Burkhead or Gillisley just in case.
Right. All right. So one of the things that we're going to be doing for every division is having little fun with this. We're going to have some board bets on every single owner in the division. Uh, we're starting with the East, of course, and I got a couple of here that will sure to cause some controversy or some motivation depending on who you are. And the first one, since we're first right here, is going to be the Sugarland Cougars, and I have a bet that they will have the worst divisional record in this division.
Um, what's your over under on 6 wins?
The division's tough, so I think I that's a good number. I will say over, but it's gonna be 7. I think it's 7. I just feel like they had the type of lineup over the past 2 years where they can just set it and forget it. And now it's going to be totally different. It's in the redraft system. They've proven before that when it's a redraft, they don't really do too hot the first year, but they turn it around after they figure out their identity and all that stuff. And I figure the way this division set up, the way this league is set up, I just feel like it's going to be too late, and they might make a run at the end, maybe mess up some people's playoff hopes, but I really only see 7 wins. Now this is a stretch because remember, this team last year went 13-1. But they also got knocked out the first round of the playoffs, and they had Odell Beckham Jr. and Antonio Brown. And I ain't gonna
Right,
lie,
right.
I'm gonna make a
Right.
threat.
I don't see that happening
Yeah, I'm
again.
about to make a threat too. If us as owners let that happen again,
I don't see it happening again. Not for less than $150.
Ex-
Um, but let me say this. I'm gonna take the under on 6.
you don't take the
I'm
explain.
gonna I'm gonna take the under on 6, and here's why I say it's gonna be 5. between the added difficulty
Mm-hmm.
with the realignment of the divisions and the fact that it's an auction format. It's a format that's hard to practice for because I mean, even if you do some mock auctions, an auction is going to be different based on who you're drafting with, and the fact that historically, like you said, every so often the Cougars have a suspect first year when we got to start with clean rosters. Between that and the just added inherent variance that's in the game right now, I got my doubts that they can repeat without the high floor that players like Brown and Beckham Jr. will
Yeah,
give.
yeah, he definitely will not have that easy of a set it and forget it type season. Next bet I got is for the Emerald City Kings, and this one will be pretty funny. They will spend all of their free agent auction budget by the end of the season.
I knew you one better. I bet it's going to be gone before the bye weeks are over.
Now, Mike, the bye weeks in week 12. So you saying that he gonna spend $150? If I do my math right, that is literally about what, 14, $13 a week. He gonna spend that much a week?
I think he's going to try.
Well, I guess we
Because,
both.
I mean, when you're the type of guy to make 40 transactions in a season, not all of those are going to be no-name bench warmers. Not all of those are going to be kickers and defenses, right? So some of those he's going to have to fight for.
Right.
And all it takes is 2 injuries. With the bye weeks on approach, I'm going to say it's going to all be gone by week 12.
Ooh, he's saying you ain't gonna have no more money for Christmas.
Look, I call him how I see him.
All right, going on to the next team, Silent But Deadly. I have that Silent But Deadly, known to do trades, whether they are giving away their team as far as like they let go of hope too soon, or they actually try to make a good move. They will have the most trades in the division. Now, the funny thing is, their biggest rival is Emerald City Kings, but for some reason, they always tend to have a trade with Emerald City Kings. So I feel like Silent But Deadly, Mr. Getty himself, will have the most trades in the division.
Well, let me ask you how you're gonna count most trades because we might not have a bet on this. I might agree with you. Are you talking about trading the most players or the most individual transactions?
Most individual transaction.
Um, I don't know if I'm prepared to take that one. Speaking of which, so wait, what's at stake here exactly? For these board bets, like what's the wager?
Well, I mean, what you want to put on it?
Uh, I say dinner at Rafane's.
All right. Dinner at Rafane's. That's a bet then. That's a bet. All right. So y'all better not mess this up for me. And by the way, even though this is a bet between us, I'm pretty sure Mike can agree. A way to meet everybody for the first time for some of these owners, I think it would be a pretty good idea to meet at Rafane's. Just using this as a bet and a way to meet and greet too.
That'd be a good time.
That would be a good time. I mean, eating hella steak, hella picanha, and don't forget about that cinnamon crusted pineapple. Oh my god!
Chicken hearts too. Don't forget about the heart.
Oh yeah, the chicken hearts. That's right. That's right. That's right.
The heart is good meat.
All right, and then last team, Zeke and Destroy. Zeke and Destroy. Here's the funny thing about this team. This team usually always has a lot of rookies and a lot of sophomores, and I feel like by the end of the draft, actually, you know what? I'm gonna do one better. By the end of the season, I feel like they will have the most 1 year or 2 year players on their team.
That's another one where I'm not sure I disagree with you. If memory serves, the owner for Zeke and Destroy does like to take those risks on the young talent. He'll go after a player who's coming into the league fresh. Yeah, we might have to let this board bet thing ride on the first two because I don't disagree. I fully expect him to, have what's my boy's name, Deshaun Kaiser,
Yep.
somebody like that on the bench for him. I fully expect him to go after Zeke Elliott because everybody will. Yeah, I think you're right. To be honest.
All right, so there you have it. For the board bets on the Eastern Division, we have for myself that the owner of Emerald City Kings will spend all their fab by the end of the season. Big Mike has it before the end of the bye weeks. Nando would have the worst divisional record, but I had the over on 6 games with only being 7, and Big Mike had it at 5. And we both had a push on Zeke and Destroy having the most 1 year, 2 year plays by the end of the season, and Silent but Deadly having the most trades uh, in the division in the whole year. Now let's get to some interesting positional play here. Let's talk about QBs a little bit. We're going to do this every week leading up to the draft and then also to the first week of the fantasy football season. We're going to have some QB board bets. Like I said, astronomical, maybe, reachable, possibly, but just to spark good conversation amongst us owners. You know how we do. Anyway, my first one, this one's pretty simple. I think it's very reachable this year, but also a little bit astronomical because this player will be 40 years old by the time the season starts. And his name is Tom Brady. And yes, I do believe that Tom Brady will throw for 5,000 yards and over 40 touchdowns. Mike, am I wrong to think that?
Yeah. I can't. I don't know if I can ride with you on that one, bro. Because here's the thing: they know that Tom Brady's going to be 40. Gronk, apparently, his back is made out of like paper mache. And even though they've done it with kind of replacement level receivers before, I don't think they have to. They've got 4 running backs on the roster right now, and they don't exactly play in the strongest division. I think that 5,000 yards or nearly 5,000 yards is reachable, but 40 touchdowns that seems excessive to me.
Yeah, well, the last time he reached that mark was when he had Randy Moss and Wes Walker, and let me get this. Let me let y'all know, Brandon Cooks is no Randy Moss. But as far as the talented receivers he's had in the past, he might be second, maybe third best to Wes Walker when he was there in that system.
Yeah. And just another point, while we're talking about it, it might be news to some people, but 5,000 yards isn't as ridiculous as it used to be. And we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. But I got another name for you that I think is equally likely to eclipse 5,000 yards when it's my turn.
Well, yeah, it is your turn. Go ahead and get it in there.
Kirk Cousins.
Hey, my boy.
Last year in the regular season, Kirk Cousins had something like 4,900 yards. Now he only had his touchdowns were in the 20s somewhere, right? So he wasn't lighting up the scoreboard exactly.
Right.
But he had 4,900 yards, and his best receiver was Deshaun Jackson. His best tight end was Jordan Reed, and I know from personal experience that Jordan Reed was kind of, on again, off again, hurt again, well again from time to sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean any disrespect to the Cal graduate and world class speedster Deshaun Jackson, but I'm not sure that at this point of his career, Terrell Pryor isn't a better option.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to take Cousins for 5,000 plus yards and over 30 touchdowns this season. What you got to say about that?
Well, here's the funny thing about it. Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garcon wasn't really his favorite receivers. He just threw them because they either ran fast or they got open. And his 2 favorite receivers is one that's pretty reliable for Kirk and Jamison Crowder. And then, like you said, the on again, off again, hurt again, back again, Jordan Reed. I mean, there were some weeks Jordan Reed, I mean, when he was on the field playing, I mean, he got all the red zone targets. He got all the midfield targets. I mean, he was getting all the targets. And if you had Cousins and Reed in the same fantasy season, I mean, that's sometimes going into halftime, you already had 60 points between the two. So it was like, uh, Garcon and Jackson, yeah, they both were 1,000 yard receivers, but I don't think they will be missed that much. And having Terrell Pryor come in, but well, yes, I'm the one that found Terrell Pryor last year for $1. Yeah, y'all can go ahead and KMA on that. In case you didn't know, that is Kiss My Bleep. Anyway, but yeah. So I I don't. I'm gonna have to go under on the yards. But I'm right there with you on the touchdowns, though. I feel like he's got more touchdown capable receivers than he did last year. But
Now wait a minute, because now before you follow up statement, would you say that their backfield has improved or gotten worse from last year to this year? Name their starting running back right now.
oh, Robert Kelly.
What's Robert Kelly done? What's he done for me lately?
I mean, in NFL terms, hold down the fort. In fantasy terms, not near a damn thing.
I'm saying, like, Robert Kelly might one day grow into an average Alfred Morris,
Right.
but an average Alfred Morris was a reasonably reliable running back.
Well,
I don't think he's that right now.
well, yeah, he is not. He's definitely not that, and that's why they drafted Samaje Perine for the just in case. And they also had Chris Thompson. They're going to use Chris Thompson just like the slot. You got to remember, John Gruden came from the same system that Hugh Jackson was running too. They both ran the same thing in Cincinnati when they were there together. So, you know, Robert Kelly probably won't get the same production like he did last year when they were running the ball late in the end of the season. I feel like, I'll put it to you like this. Kirk Cousins could get 5,000 plus yards. Will the defenses he's facing though this year let him get 5,000 yards? You know what I'm saying?
I don't. Okay, let me add this caveat. I expect his efficiency to go down. Right, the last 2 years, Kirk Cousins was throwing. Let me see. I got ESPN open. Hold on. So in 2015, Kirk Cousins' completion percentage was 69.8% in the regular season, almost 70%. Last year, he threw 67% completions. I expect that number to be closer to like 61, 62. And that's just because I expect him to be throwing a lot more balls. Like last year, he had 600 attempts. The year before that, he had 540. I expect him to be closer to 630, 650 than 550 by the end of this season. I expect him to pass a lot because the receivers have gotten better and the running backs have gotten worse.
All right, then. So Mike has the over on 5,000 yards and at least 30 touchdowns. I have the under on 5,000 yards, but I agree with Mike on the 30 touchdowns. So at least we got the yardage there. My next one is it has to deal with Marcus Mariota. I feel like he will finish a top 5 quarterback this year in our CHFFL.
So, I mean, are you expecting like 8 rushing touchdowns or something? Or
Not necessarily 8 rushing touchdowns, but I feel like they set up the scheme to where the play action is going to be way more beneficial this year than it was with old Rashard Matthews.
Well, but does the name Rashard Matthews inspire faith?
No,
Because
but Eric Decker and Corey Coleman do.
I mean, all right.
And then he still got Delaney Walker. He still got him old reliable in the middle. You know what I'm saying? And it's proven last year that DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry, they can catch a couple in the backfield and be some old rumbling rumble balls going down going down the field,
I mean, I believe that the Titans are going to continue to run the ball. I do not believe that Marcus Mariota is going to be able. Last year he only had 3,400 yards and 26 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like you're projecting quite the jump in production.
Yes, I am. Oh, yes, I
Okay,
is. Is that better?
okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna have to take the under on that, but okay.
All right, Big Mike takes the under in a confident manner on the Marcus Mariota getting top 5. All right, what's your next one, bro?
Jameis Winston.
Oh, Jameis, famous Jameis. Crab legs is what we call him.
Um, let me see. Since I'm using my tools this week. Last year, Jameis Winston had 567 attempts. He completed about 60% of his passes. He threw 4,090 yards, 28 touchdowns. My prediction: I don't know how the yards are going to look, but I expect him to improve in his third year. I'm going to give Jameis Winston credit for. I'm going to be bold. I'm going to say 35 touchdowns. I'm going to say 35 touchdowns, and I don't have a whole lot of faith in his accuracy. I'm not going to go that far on completion percentage. But I expect his attempts to get closer to 600.
Okay.
And I expect to see a dramatic increase in his touchdown production just because I don't think he's done developing. And I do think that Deshaun Jackson has something left in the tank. You know, and they just draft a tight end?
O.J. Howard. Orange juice.
Yeah, Howard. That, between Howard and Bray and Jackson and Evans, he's got big targets. All but one of them is pretty sure-handed. I think they still have the muscle hamster in the backfield, right? So, teams can't afford to spread out too much. They can make them pay for the nickel if they so choose. And, he's fully capable of getting a rushing touchdown. In his rookie year, he had 5 or 6, I want to say.
Oh, yeah.
So I expect the total touchdowns to be like 35. And I expect his completion percentage to go up a little bit. I don't want to put a number on it because I don't have that much confidence. And I expect him to hit 600 attempts. So, officially, for the board, 600 attempts and 35 touchdowns. Jameis Winston.
All right, I will. For the attempts, I will agree on the 600. On the touchdowns, though, you going 35 to 40 or 30 to 35?
I'll take 30 to 35. I don't think they're going to turn into a spread offense anytime soon.
Okay. How about this? Over 32 or under 32?
Over.
I'm going to take the under then. Because I was trying to. I felt like he was going to throw more than 30 touchdowns. I just didn't think he's going to throw more than 35. But.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I think he's going to get there, right? I don't expect Tampa to start off strong. They still got to play Carolina and New Orleans. It ain't like they're the top dogs, right?
Right.
But on the flip side, if Cam Newton and Drew Brees are kicking your head in for the first 3 quarters, I expect him to get some of those garbage time scores. I expect it to make a big difference.
There you go. Well, of course, if you got to face Cam, Drew, and Matty Ice, and Julio, and Michael Thomas, and
we'll talk about that whatever week we talk about receivers, but I'm a little worried about Julio.
Well, Julio been getting beat. I mean, Julio's kind of on the same trend as Calvin, but we talking about QBs right now, not the receivers. Right. Anyway, the last one that I got as a board bet, and this is going to upset some fans here. Can't wait to drop this little hot take. Dak Prescott will finish the year with more interceptions than touchdowns.
I can't take that one just because I don't have any special love for the Cowboys, right? I don't care about them one way or another. But I believe that Dak Prescott is the genuine article, right? And so while I don't expect him to shake the world, more interceptions than touchdowns that's a big statement. Like, think about that. You're talking about 30 interceptions and 25 touchdowns, maybe?
Yeah, that would be a little high. But I
But
mean,
I'm saying, like, do you expect them to bring in another quarterback?
no,
Because
no, 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 no,
that's
no. They're gonna ride or die with Dak. But the thing is like he was 23rd in pass attempts. And remember, in the last half of the season, when you actually want to run the ball more, they were actually throwing it more. And then like he kind of the defense started figuring him out, and as he was throwing it more, as you can see here on the stats, especially against that Giants game, they finally stopped Zeke. What happened? He had to throw 2 interceptions that game. He already started with the Giants week 1, and then he got his schedule next year, man. They going to get some D coordinators that's pretty smart.
so okay. Over under on 20 picks.
Over. Under 25, over 20, and I don't think he gets 25 touchdowns this year.
Over under on 16 touchdowns.
Over.
So you think like 18 to 20 touchdowns and like 21 to 25 picks.
I'm saying 20 to 22 touchdowns and 22 to 25 interceptions. I think he's about dead even.
I'll take that bet.
All right.
I think he's gonna do better than that.
He probably will. This is definitely my more astronomical one. But this will be the one. If it happens, I'm running around the streets with this.
Bold talk. That's bold talking right there.
Hey, well, what are these called? Bold board bets. Triple B's. Anyway. All right, what's yours, man?
My last guy is Derek Carr. Derek Carr is a big part of the reason why I felt so deeply betrayed by the Raiders' decision to leave Oakland and go to Vegas. Because we haven't had a quarterback with this level of potential since Rich Gannon. And he's already the best quarterback we've had since Rich Gannon by the numbers. Like, beyond potential, beyond what we expect of him, beyond the quality of the supporting cast, this guy is what everybody expected his older brother to be. I'm going to say that coming back from that major injury in like week 15 or week 16, whatever it was, Derek Carr raises his completion percentage. He breaks over 65%. Raises his yardage. He gets to 4,500. And raises his touchdowns. He gets back over 30. He improves in all three of the relevant quarterback categories. And I'm going to add to it, he keeps his interceptions under 10 again this year. So 60.
Okay. The interceptions ones where I might have to disagree with you. I think he could get over 10.
Look, I'm saying all of the above. 65% completion, 4,500 yards, over 30 touchdowns, less than 10 interceptions.
I'm with you on every single one of those except for them interceptions. Because I put it to you like this. The only reason why he ain't going to have more than 10 interceptions is because when he thinking about throwing an interception, he just going to hand it off to old beast mode back there and watch him just run over the poor.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. If it helps to inform my prediction, I expect his attempts to stay basically the same.
Right.
I don't expect him to throw the ball a ton of times.
Right.
Like last year, he threw 560 passes. I'm looking at his numbers right now. Last year, he threw 560 passes. His rookie year, he threw 599. I do not expect this to be the year that he breaks 600.
If he do show out, though, next year he will definitely throw 600.
Yeah.
Put the ball in his hands. All right, so you have the under on 10 interceptions. I have the over on 10 interceptions, but everything else we agreed on. So we'll just focus on the interceptions on this one. I had the over on 10. You had the under on 10.
And if you can't tell, the Raiders are my pick to win the AFC West next year. I don't have any faith left in Phillip Rivers.
Next year or this year?
This year, I'm sorry. Yeah, this the year we are headed into.
Gotcha. Yeah, they are a strong favorite. I just want to see Khalil Mack smack on somebody. That's all I want to see. Well, Khalil Mack and Marshawn Lynch.
I heard there's this young fella they're bringing in to play middle linebacker that's supposed to be the real deal too.
Oh boy. Well, you know how Jack Del Rio is. If there's one thing he knows is linebackers.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, folks. Well, there you have it for this week's edition of the podcast. Just for the record, for YouTube purposes, I do not own any rights to the information that was just shown from ESPN. Also, this is just for fun. This is not to try and make a wage or nothing. You can check my taxes, whatever you need to. This is all for fun. All right, so next week we'll talk about the Central, which I believe you are in that division. So that'll be some interesting talk. Along with we'll talk about running backs. Get into that a little bit.
Yeah. My favorite position in fantasy.
All right, well, for Big Mike, this is Elufusjames. We'll be back next Wednesday, hopefully. Knocking on wood. But take care.
Peace.